time is quickly running out on this baseball season. You can't afford to hang on to guys who are not producing for your fantasy team. You can't sit and wait for players to turn it around. Look, the second half is now well underway. Let's look at some players that you have my permission to just cut and move on from. And believe it or not, we're going to start with a pair of pitchers on a team that has the most wins in the majors. In case you didn't guess what I'm talking about, it's the Dodgers. Yeah, tied technically with a few other teams, but obviously a strong contender here. But that rotation has been a disaster. Well, most of the season. Back in April, it looked like they had one of the best staffs in the game, but it all went south really quickly because nobody can stay healthy. And I mean nobody. I remember when Tyler Glasnow was the Cy Young frontrunner. Yamamoto was doing amazing in his first major league season. And yeah, we're going to get Walker Buehler and Clayton Kershaw back. Just think. And now I don't even know who to trust in that rotation, but I know who I'm not trusting. It's Walker Buehler. One very legitimate concern with him coming back from so much time missed with injury was the fact that he might not go deep into games. And at first, that didn't seem like it was an issue at all. In fact, a couple of starts where he went 6 innings, maybe would even stretch out more as the season went on. But unfortunately, the too predictable thing happened is he's had some more setbacks, and he just hasn't been the same pitcher as he was pre-Tommy John. And this matters a lot because if you're in a league, a roto league that only uses 5 pitching categories, and one of them is going to be either wins or quality starts, and even if you're in a points league, yeah, that matters a lot. Forget quality start. The last time he went more than 5 innings in a game was back in May. And in his 9 starts on the season, he's got a 1-4 record. Yeah, that's right. 1 win, despite playing for one of the winningest teams in the majors. And sure, that might just be one category, but here's where I draw the line. The thing that really makes me completely out on Buehler, not that I was ever in this season, if you recall, but his whiff rate, the strikeouts are just not there. His whiff rate is the first percentile. If we look at the threshold of 150 plate appearances, batters faced here, he's got the 7th worst whiff rate. And of course, that's translated to a pretty anemic 18.3% strikeout rate. And then when you look at the fact that his ratios are actually hurting you as well, a 5.58 ERA, 1.56 whip, what are you waiting for? Look, the Walker Buehler from 2021 is not coming back anytime soon. You don't need to roster him anymore. And if you're hoping that the return of Bobby Miller would be a bright spot for this team, nope, not so fast. In his first start since getting recalled from the minors, he allowed 4 earned runs and 8 hits in just 4 2/3 innings, and more alarmingly, only 1 strikeout. So this is just continuing what we saw before his demotion. This is not the same Bobby Miller as last season. And I'll keep saying this, I don't think it's a physical issue with him. I don't think this is a lingering injury. He didn't get put back in IL. He got sent down, and his issue's not been, that he just can't spot the ball right. It's just he's giving up repeated hard hits over and over again, and he's not fooling batters. His struggles, of course, have extended since before this last start, which is why he got sent down. But just a reminder of how bad he's been. Only a total of 10 strikeouts in his last 5 starts. That's 22 innings pitched. It's pretty clear taking a look at his rolling xWOBA, that of course being expected weighted on-base average, pretty good indicator of how a pitcher's performing. It just keeps getting worse. A lot of times we'll use the thing where we say, well, if you take out that one really bad start, his numbers aren't that bad. Let's do the reverse here. Honestly, if you take out Bobby Miller's first start of this season, of course, well before his struggles, before the injury and all that, if you take out that one really good start, very beginning of the year, it's been a horrendous year overall. He's got a 9.76 ERA and a total of 17 strikeouts as opposed to 18 walks. Again, the long ball continues to be an issue. 9 home runs in 27 innings pitched. The Dodgers are not going to be patient here. He's probably going to get sent right back down, regardless of what happens this next start. I don't expect great things, obviously. Look, Tyler Glasnow, on the positive side, I guess, should be back before the end of the month, maybe another week or so. I would think Yoshinobu Yamamoto would be back at some point this season. Bobby Miller might not be in that rotation very long, but even if he is, should not be on your fantasy roster anymore. Now, is it possible that being an all-star can ruin a guy's season? I mean, maybe this looks like what's happening to Kansas City Royals ace Seth Lugo. Since getting an all-star nod, The second half of the season has been a complete 180 in 5 starts since the All Star break, 5.23 ERA, and 19 to 9 strikeout to walk ratio. And he's allowed at least 4 earned runs in 4 of his last 6 starts. That includes one that was before the All Star break. It almost seems like as soon as he found out he was making the team, things just went south. Now, realistically, I think the issue might be fatigue. We were worried about guys like Garrett Crochet because, as a converted reliever who had never pitched nearly this many innings, we knew it was possible he would get limited, get tired, whatever. Well, remember, Seth Lugo has not been a starter his whole career. He worked out of the bullpen a lot. He was kind of a spot starter, a fifth starter. He just set his career high in innings pitched already for this season. It's at 159. That surpassed last year's mark, which was his career high of 146. So he's already well beyond where he's ever been before in terms of work. So, regardless of what the reason is, doesn't matter. Look, the bottom line is he's not the same pitcher as he was before the break. It's been a great season for him. It's been a great story. It's been great for the Royals. Not great for fantasy anymore. It's okay to just say, well, you had your time and now we got to move on. And sometimes it goes for young pitchers as well. Like Nick Lodolo of the Reds, super talented, has had some injury issues, but look, whatever's going on now, he seems to be healthy, but he just doesn't seem to be with it because his season just continues to get worse. We can't keep hanging on here. His ex-WOBA has climbed for 3 straight months, and this is not something that's just since the All-Star break either. In fact, in the month of July, he had a 6.67 ERA. In the month of August so far, 3 starts, 8.56 ERA. He continues to get clobbered. He is getting his strikeouts, sure, but a team like Cincinnati is out of it. The wins are hard to come by, and of course, it's hard to come by when you continue to get clobbered. It's easy to kind of get suckered into he's got the talent. He just needs to figure it out. With these young pitchers, we almost give them too much benefit of the doubt. We don't have time for that. Fantasy playoffs, stretch run, whatever it is. Look, cut him, find somebody else. All right, what about some hitters who were at one point very valuable? And in fact, not too long ago, were starting in most fantasy lineups, but now I think you can safely say we can cut. I had been optimistic on Isaac Paredes going to the Cubs, maybe being something that would benefit him, not because the Cubs have been great this year, because they haven't, but better atmosphere, better support in that lineup. It's not happening. Paredes has gone 4 straight games without a base hit, and now there's something cropping up with his shoulder, some sort of an issue. Not a good sign. Even if he doesn't hit the IL, it's something you gotta look out for. But again, that's not even the issue. Whether he's totally fine 100%, he's been fine all year, but ever since going to Chicago, just hasn't happened for him. I've already talked about how, though you might think it might be a better park factor for a home run hitter, especially a right-handed pull hitter, it really isn't. I know the Trop isn't great, but Wrigley's really not any better. In his first 17 games as a Cub, he's got 2 home runs, 8 RBIs. Plenty of guys I know out there the past 2 weeks who've put up very similar numbers that are widely available on waivers. So that is nothing special. And his slash line, this is where it's hurting you. He's batting 153 with a 250 on base percentage, a 305 slugging. And then there's the fact that just whole Cubs team in general, that offense really has not picked it up in the second half. It looks kind of like the same old thing here. It's very hit or miss, and a lot of miss, of course. So Paredes, look, I don't say you have to absolutely cut him, but at this point, I'm not holding out hope that anything will change for the better. I think I'm definitely done this year with George Springer. Yeah, I did pick him up when he got hot, which feels like a long time ago and feels like a very brief moment of this season. He caught fired right before the break. It's done. It's over with. In August, he is hitting 164, and even worse, he's doing nothing in terms of counting stats. Only 1 home run and 0 stolen bases in this month. This is a team that's obviously rebuilding. This has been a horrible offense all year. They've been just basically mediocre in the second half, and that's an improvement over what they had done in the first half, ironically. But look, it's open tryouts there at all the positions. Springer will still be there pretty much every day, but he is not helping out. This is just a lost season for him and the Jays. You don't have to hold on and hope that he gets hot again. And I got to throw a catcher in there because I know a lot of people still stream catcher or play in 2 catcher leagues. I really had high hopes for Logan O'Hoppe of the Angels, but if there's a team that season has been lost a long time ago, it's the Angels, and O'Hoppe has not thrived in spite of that. He did have a little power surge, but man, he made up for it definitely with his slump. It all started when he managed to go 0 for 10 in a single day. That's right, he started both games of a doubleheader against the Yanks, didn't get a single hit, and that just carried over because he managed to go hitless in 28 straight at bats. So then he hit a solo home run, thought maybe this would turn things around, but no, the next 2 days he went hitless again. Now, if you're in a two catcher league, I get it. This guy's a starting catcher. You probably just don't want to drop him, but you should bench him. But in a single catcher league, you don't have to hold on here. Austin Wells has been great in the second half. I already talked about him as a strong waiver wire pickup. Just get him instead. Connor Wong has been good all season. He actually can hit for average as well. Pick him up instead or just stream. But you can't just continue to suffer in hopes that somebody turns it around, especially when he's on such a bad offense. If you're going to win your fantasy baseball league this year, staying active is the key. That means cutting, making those hard decisions when you have to, and of course, picking up the right players. So if you want to know who to replace these guys with, check out the latest waiver wire video.